Good evening, everyone. Wow, some massive, really quite large, complex businesses. So I'm going to tell you about a simple, much smaller business now, but one that I certainly think is no less exciting. Just to introduce myself, my name's Owen Phillips. I'm the CFO. I'm part of the new leadership team that came in. I joined around 6 months ago. And my colleague, Mr. Heejae, Chae, is going to join me for questions in a moment, because I think you'll be more interested in his opinion than certainly me as a bean counter. So just to tell you about ourselves, very straightforward. We're an IT managed service provider for small and medium businesses. We provide a full range of solutions across the data estate: protection, security, connectivity, hosting, and in particular, we've expanded to develop our expertise in AI and public cloud. And I'm going to tell you more about that as we go through the slides. Today, we're 99 employees across 4 office locations: Manchester, London, Edinburgh, and Newport. And just to give you a flavour of our size today, I mean, our financial results were out recently. Revenue around 23 million, adjusted EBITDA 2 million. Crucially, a large portion of our revenue is recurring managed service income, so it's 70% recurring. And our net debt is around 3.5 million, certainly at March 24. So really, this is where I think it gets exciting. We've gone through a total transformation of our business over the last 12 to 18 months. So around April 23, my colleague, Mr. Heejae Chae, joined us and bought a stake in the business and took over as executive chairman. Since then, he's replaced virtually the entire leadership team. 12 senior leaders who have gone, including the CEO and CFO, with 6 new hires, myself obviously being one of them. Recruited a new go-to-market organisation. Our new Chief Revenue Officer has joined us from Softcat. He's brought a couple of his colleagues over as well. Softcat's a resale business that we really admire. We've recruited a team of cloud specialists in AWS and Azure. They're working very hard particularly to bolster our credentials. We've already got advanced tier level 3 with AWS, which we're really pleased about. Crucially, we've recruited an AI team of software engineers. There's 5 people in that team. They've got extensive experience. They've joined us from JP Morgan, from McLaren, from AWS. So it's a really sophisticated team that we're now building. And I guess, we've refreshed the entire board. I think there's only one non-exec that was here before Heejae joined. And crucially, around 3 or 4 months ago, we did an 11 million fundraising, which has really strengthened our balance sheet. It's given us this pot of cash to invest internally, but also to potentially be acquisitive over the coming periods. So it's a really exciting time for this business at the moment. There's just an energy, there's a buzz. I'll tell you a bit about our customers, and this is important because this will then help you understand exactly who we are and what we're doing. So we've got circa 500 customers, and 90% of them are in the SMB space. And we've defined SMB here as less than £1 billion revenue. There's no huge concentration, no mega whales in there. As I say, our largest customer accounts for around 6% of revenue. We've got long-standing relationships with our customers. Some of them have been with us for 2, 3, 5 years or more. But crucially, most only buy a few of the offerings. So that, we divide our business into service pillars, and typically, I think it's around 60% use 2 or less pillars. So there's so much cross-sell opportunity and white space in these customers. So our mission is to become the partner of choice for small and medium businesses in their AI and digital transformation journey. That's why we've made this investment in these kind of expertise in cloud and AI. The strategy is to support the entire data infrastructure to achieve AI and ML readiness through our portfolio of technical capabilities. And you can see them listed there: hosting, protection, connectivity, security, analysis, with support and monitoring, a service wrap around the entire thing. And then our new investment, which we've made over the last 12 months, is to develop our AI and cloud expertise, to bring people in who've been there, done it, and are going to drive us forward and enable us to offer that extra level to our customers. So I'm going to now dial in on our AI and cloud capabilities, and really just to set the scene. small and medium-sized businesses, they know they need to get on board with AI, they know they need to get on this journey, but they're not sure where to start. The concept AI can feel quite abstract. There isn't in-house expertise that can help them with them, and there isn't necessarily expertise in their partners where they can go to kind of take them through it. And this is where we're developing, or have developed, this capability. And we really see it as we assess, we can look at their infrastructure, their migration, and provide analytics. So it's the full spectrum. And what I'm going to do now, because I thought this would be useful, is take you through a case study of each of these columns, where we've gone into a company and we've built this out. So for infrastructure, I'm going to talk to you about a company called Cell and Gene Therapy. For migration, I'm going to talk to you about a company called CMO. And for analytics, I'm going to talk to you about a company called Hatfields. So I'll take you through 3 case studies now. So Catapult, Cell and Gene Therapy, they're a centre of excellence in this sphere. And they're an existing customer, and they typically buy products, hardware, and professional services from us. And in FY23, they spent circa 187,000, I think it was. And the reason why this is a good example is this is a good example to tell you about how we can develop infrastructure, which was one of those columns we just looked at. So we had our first meeting with them. Well, I should say, we contacted them and said, we've got this new AI team. They're great. You've got to meet them. We get on with them really well. They said, that is brilliant, because we've just convened an AI committee. They're actually meeting in a number of weeks. Come in and present to them. They'd love to hear what you've got to say. So we went in and met them in November. By December, we'd got an initial AI phase 1 order, which is basically we're going to go in and look at your system as a consultancy brief, not hugely expensive, and we're just going to tell you, look at what you can do, look at your infrastructure, see what's there, look at what, the art of the possible. We went in and did that, and from that we recommended an Azure Health Check phase 1. So we looked at their Azure environment. We could do that because we've got this new cloud team. Previously, it was a kind of a competency we didn't have. From that, we recommend a server upgrade, device patching. We did another Azure Health Check, a network LAN refresh, and then another AI phase 2 order, and then a file server. So at the end of it, they'd spent with us by the end of FY24, 585,000. So this is an example. We went in with the AI kind of analysis, but from that we managed their infrastructure. We made recommendations on their infrastructure, and then we partnered with them and we project managed the implementation. So this is an example of infrastructure, which is one of the ways we can help. CMO is the UK's largest online-only retailer of building materials. So again, a customer of ours for a number of years. They were actually a hosting customer, and they were actually in the process of leaving us because they were migrating to AWS. We didn't have the expertise to help them with that. We went in to see them and we said, look, we've got this new cloud team. They're brilliant. We understand you haven't completed the migration. Can we come in and help? And we went in and finished off the migration phase of their integration. But from that, we were able to show them all the other things we can do. And from that, we now manage the entire environment in their AWS architecture. So we manage it all for them. They actually have got less permanent staff working on it now because our team of management and monitoring take care of their environment. We're closely engaged with them, and we're negotiating their next technology roadmap with them. So again, this is an example where a relatively, not overly complex consultancy-led way into the business actually led to a now recurring managed service customer that we were going to lose. Next one I'll talk to you about is Hatfields. So Hatfields are one of the largest UK Land Rover, Range Rover dealers in the UK. This is a really interesting one. This is like a quite, I think, exciting one. Because they were a completely new logo. They came to us, and we were engaged with various members of their kind of senior leadership, and they said, what can you do for us? And we said, first thing we did, we went in and looked at their data, and we said, your data's really, really good. There's not a great deal of build, there's not a great deal of kind of re-engineering or re-architecture that's required. And so we can really get into the sexy stuff, if you like. We can get into the AI and ML build. And so we sat with them, asked what their needs were, what their requirements were, how we can help. And what we came up with was the solution they wanted was what we call a ranking model to score customer propensity. So putting that into something that makes a bit more sense, they've got a load of product, it categorises the product. So it'll categorise all the vehicles that they've got on lot, the spec, the colours, etc. And then it'll categorise their customer list. So they've got a huge customer list going back a number of years, and say, look, which customer has previously bought this model before with this spec, with this sound system in, who's within 6 months of their end of their lease period. Go and target those people. So really what the salespeople do is they come in the morning, they can click on their iPad, open it up, it'll tell them, these are the cars we've got on lot and these are the people you should contact straight away who might be interested in buying this. So it's a really fun, it was a really fun piece of work for us because it was real kind of, you can kind of see the value being added. So that was Hatfields. So I hope that spells across to those analytical service lines we can offer. What I'm going to talk to you about now, which links to this, is what we're calling SYS World, which is an internal, I think this is possibly the first time we've put that definition out there, but is what we're calling our own internal business transformation project. So we recognised, we were going out to customers, I was doing interviews with people and they were saying, we're an AI company, what's your AI systems like? And we were kind of like, well, there's this and there's this. And we weren't an AI company. We hadn't embraced the possibilities we could achieve. And we realised we really need to walk the talk. We are AI evangelists. We need to have the systems, the processes, run our company as such, particularly so that we can show perfect examples to our customers. Look, this is how you can do it. This is how we do it. You can achieve this, and we can do it with you. So we're going on an internal business transformation journey. We're kind of part way through. This is something we've always been clear about. As I said, we raised 11 million before, and we made it clear in all the documentation we were going to spend 2 million on this internal transformation project. And really what it does for us is, the efficiencies that will come from transforming our own business is the first one. It's a professional services accelerator. Terrible kind of terminology, but basically, it's a really great marketing tool. You can go in and show very tangible examples, and I'll show the tangible examples next that we're working on. It's also MSP acquisition enablement engine, e.g. We've stated we're going to be acquisitive. If we can really sort out our data, sort out our platform, we can load companies in, seamlessly, and therefore take certainly a vast amount of the integration headache that is what slows down acquisitive MSP companies. So I'll talk first of all for a slide on our internal kind of project we're doing, or transformation we're doing. So the initial focus is going to be on our service desk. It's very resource intensive for us. We've got, as I say, of our 99 staff, circa 40 odd, probably more, are basic service desk, monitoring teams, etc. So it's very resource intensive, and our biggest, obviously, one of our biggest single costs is people costs. So there's really is a return on investment there. It's also tangible. People understand service desks. If we go out and we can kind of pitch that, people will understand it's not a kind of obscure usage. We're also going to focus on our CRM system, so our customer management system. So, there was historically low quality data in there because we'd been, just to give you a history lesson, we'd come about from essentially up to 7 MSPs that have been bought over time as part of a listed vehicle. And so we had data from here and data from there and an office here and an office there. This is bringing it all together, but very much on a kind of digitized and even AI-led method, because what we want to be able to do is then buy companies and suck them in. As I said, the primary reason MSPs can have difficulties is that they just don't integrate well. And for the internal side of the project, we've given ourselves some targeted outcomes. As I say, we want to reduce headcount in our service function. So certainly, we've given ourselves a target of 25% at the end of 2025. But really, crucially, we want to onboard new customers and not think we need to hire a load more people because this customer's come in or this customer's come in. We want to improve our customer service. We want higher scores with lower people, effectively, and we want to reduce the menial tasks. So, 20% we're aiming for to get of our service requests to be fully automated. And if I show this from a service desk focus point of view, you can see, if you're familiar with service desks, they tend to have level 1 engineers, level 2, level 3, and depending on the complexity, it kind of goes through them. So you have a lot more level 1 than level 3, and level 3 are the kind of more experienced, expensive guys. And the intention really is to reduce this so that the level 1 is reduced, level 2 is reduced, and so level 3, there'll still be a chunky amount of people there, but they will really be dealing with the high complex items. And this is a great, as like I think I described, it's a marketing tool. You know, people can understand this, they can get their arms around it, and we can explain this to customers and say, look, this is what we do, this is the efficiencies we've gained, we can do this for you. And MSP acquisitions, so we've said, backtracking, we raised some money, we said we're going to spend a portion of this on acquisitions, we fully intend to do that. SYS World has to support these ambitions, and we're trying to build a base platform where we can acquire and integrate, you know, effectively import companies quickly without the integration headache. So over time, there's been a lot of MSP roll-ups over the years, and some of them have been very, very successful, but the ones that haven't have often struggled with the integration of lots of disparate companies. So this is what this intends to solve. So to summarize, we're at the end of the presentation. Our goal is to guide SMBs through the complex AI value chain, support their transformation from start to finish. Be there by their size, manage their services, recurring revenue, develop this, you know, strong, close relationship. Completely new management team and board appointments driving the business forwards. We've reorganised our delivery under pillars of technical capability, and we've hired supporting senior hires, you know, really kind of experienced guys who are owning each column, your connectivity, your protection, your hosting. We've recruited an AI team with extensive experience. We've recruited cloud specialists in AWS and Azure. Implementing the transformation of SysGroup through SYS World. It's going to serve as a live case study of best practices. We're going to continue to be acquisitive, and crucially, we've raised, you know, as an accountant, makes me feel more comfortable coming in every day. We've raised 11 million in our recent fundraising, gives us a strong balance sheet that really, you know, enables us to go and do some exciting things. So we intend to accelerate growth, accelerate innovation. So that's my presentation. I hope you're as excited about it as I am. I hope that comes across. Yeah, any questions?
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much, Owen. Okay, do we have questions for Owen? Anybody, please? Or Heejae? And I actually, if you don't mind, do you have a microphone on?
I think so.
Yeah, would you mind joining us up here? What I thought might be interesting is if you could describe what attracted you to the business, what you saw in there that made you want to come in and to make the changes that you've done.
Yeah, look, it's a bit of a deja vu for me standing in front of you all because 15 years ago when I took over Scapa Group, which I ran for 12 years, it was a similar market cap around 24 million. And, you know, the retail market is where I went to kind of present, given the size of it. And thankfully to a lot of the retail investors, stuck with me for 12 years when I exited 3 years ago and we sold it over 400 million pounds. So it was a 17x return. So really, I think the support, and particularly for AIM businesses, being known around the retail investor, I think is very important. So I think my goal is to kind of perpetuate that with this new vehicle. So in terms of why I got into SysGroup is kind of when I sold the business 3 years ago, I was 52 years old. So I'm thinking, okay, I don't have to work again. I'm going to go play golf, you know, do my health check, MOT, read a lot of books, travel, and hopefully my wife want to spend every minute of it with me for the rest of my life. Well, that wasn't the case. After all said and done, I was bored out of my mind and I have to go back to work and do something with myself. So I said, well, you know, I ran 20 years of my life manufacturing industrial global businesses. And it was accidental. I never designed to be. I said, well, in my last push, I want to be in a business that's interesting, that is growing, that's dynamic, and I'm not eking out margins by cutting cost. And so on that goal, I said, what is the most interesting thing going on in the world today? Well, clearly technology. And obviously 3-4 years ago, AI, ML was all coming to the fore. There would be more capital being invested into that space than any other part of the economy. So I said, I want to be part of that. That should be fun. So with that goal, I said, look, what is a platform and a proposition that would work? I'm not smart enough or nor have the capital to be the next NVIDIA. So I said, well, I want to be the pick and shovel company that can support people who want to get into the AI world. So with that in mind, I said, well, let me find a platform. MSP sounded really interesting. The economics really make sense, right? The recurring business is very high. Cash conversion is high. So it really provides a great platform to really, I think, develop that augmentation of capability. Because I'm taking a view from as a consumer, right? I ran SMB for 20 years, and I always struggle to find the right technology partner who can help me to kind of achieve that ambition, the potential. Because when you're running a business, and I think today is much different than it used to be 10, 20 years ago, is that what I was watching the progression of a business, and this applies to any business, is that today, with the advent of the internet and the technology, businesses generate enormous amount of data, right? Whether that's CRM, whether that's ERP, whether that's people just going on the website, email, Teams, or whatever not. And those are all information. You get so much insight if you were able to kind of extract that, put it in a structured format, and really do something with it. And for me, when kind of people started describing what AI can do, it just totally made so much sense. And I was sitting there, God, if someone could help me when I was running Scapa or Volex with this, doing something with the data so I can make the business so much better and more efficient, wouldn't that be exciting? Right? And in that goal, I mean, as I was talking to other fellow people who are in the C-suites, they all not in violent agreement. So I said, well, let me put that capability together and meet the needs that I totally see in the market. So found a platform in SysGroup. It was cheap, still cheap. And I said, look, I'm going to go hire the best people, right? I mean, you saw we have 500 customers, some great names. We added on since then. And you go like, those people are the people that will need services like that. And all that, it's better to sell into the existing customer than acquire new customers. So that was the starting point for us. And as Owen said, in terms of some of the case studies, those are we've been able to drive that. Even including customers who are willing to leave us, we came back and saying, look, this is something else we can do for you. And that has resonated. So for me, I keep saying, data is the new oil. That's what's going to fuel the business going forward. There's a gap between, I think, what's people thought of AI is going to be versus what it is today, but it's clearly coming. And from my perspective is, we don't want to be the Google. We don't want to be the NVIDIA. We want to be the guy who sells the soft drink to the gold miners in 49, right? I mean, so we are essentially the pick and shovel for the AI world.
That's great, thank you. I also was going to ask about the acquisition strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be acquiring to add product and service or acquiring customers? What are the main goals for the acquisition? I mean,
I think it'll evolve as we go through the stages. I mean, at the first go, we are focused very, very much trying to expand our capability, a portfolio of capability. So technology acquisition will be high on the list. Secondly, it will be customer acquisition. Because the ability to buy a traditional MSP, which is trading, much lower today than it has in the past, probably 5-6 times EBITDA. And if we can buy those customers, and I'm not going to look at an MSP. I mean, so we've seen through a lot of MSP roll-ups in UK. I mean, there's despite of all the consolidation that's happened, there's still 11,000 MSP in UK. And new ones are sprouting up every day. So there is an amazing supply of targets out there. And they all come with a significant customer base. And if you look at kind of what has happened to other legacy roll-ups that's existed, it's just, as Owen said, really the ability to integrate and take it on quickly. I mean, Daisy, for example, I think they did like 80 acquisitions in the last 5-6 years. I mean, there's so many companies that acquire all this company. Then you stop back and saying, how did they integrate this, right? And they have not, and that's where you fall apart. And this is for us, for me, it's like, again, eat what you sell, right? I'm sitting here going, AI is going to enable the integration so much quicker and easier. So, it's really we're creating with the SYS world a platform that really, what is essential integration? Is taking a customer set and onboarding into your platform. So the proposition I have to the team is like, look at acquisition not as an integration, but you acquire 20 new customers or 30 new customers. How can you seamlessly integrate by using AI? Because all it is taking set of data, putting it into your system, and servicing it seamlessly. Because the technology is commodity. If you use Microsoft, whether you get service from this company versus that company, whether you have Cisco network here or there, really you are indifferent as a consumer. So our ability to onboard those customers into our system and eliminate the legacy systems that they come from, and equally the cost associated with it, is the opportunity, is the arbitrage. So from our perspective, from a value creation perspective, from an equity play perspective, so you buy a company at 5 times, take the synergy cost, let's say post synergy you get to 7-8 times. I'm sorry, 3 to 4 times because you lower the purchase multiple. You're trading, because we are AI company, because anything with AI, it's a high multiple. So if we can trade at 15 times, that is not unreasonable, I don't think, from an MSP that's doing roll-up, you're getting a pretty much 10x multiple arbitrage on value. So, I think we'll have a strong growth opportunity because I do believe the traditional business is growing. We showed 20% growth, right? Was it year over year? First half, second half?
Second half was 13, I think.
At 13% growth. So before the AI, impact of AI, we've been able to grow double digit, taking a business that was actually stagnant or declining for the last 5 years. So just bringing guys who are energetic, younger, who's really willing to hustle, is going to give us an opportunity to gain market share in the traditional space. But combine that with our ability to get into the AI space, cloud space, which we were historically absent from, which is the fastest growing segment within the Gartner quadrant. Then on top of that, being able to execute this roll-up that's AI fueled gives us a 3-pronged approach to create value.
Any other questions, please? Gentleman here, please.
You hired or poached staff from Softcat. I believe your most important assets are your professionals, your experts who give you the knowledge. What happens if those experts get poached from you?
I mean, that's like asking me what would happen if my wife falls to us. I think end of the day, it's a relationship. I mean, the reality is, I didn't pay them more to come to work for me. End of the day, I think everyone, including Owen and Craig, who's sitting behind in the back of the room, they saw a vision. They got it, right? I mean, hopefully you guys heard kind of what I envision SysGroup to be. And I think they go, yeah, I get that, right? Particularly if someone who, so Heinrich was our CRO from Softcat. He was there 10 years. So imagine Softcat 10 years ago. I mean, their market share was probably same level, right? So he saw the rise. He was one of the early junior guys, graduates that they hired. So he's going, I missed that gravy train. I want to be part of the journey that Softcat went through, replicated at SysGroup. So look, I mean, end of the day, the only way I'm going to keep people is to make our place to be successful, right? I mean, people are attracted by success.
Second question, if I may. You're acquiring companies or the expertise to develop, which is really good. If SysGroup becomes so successful, why wouldn't Softcat buy you up? And at what price would you be willing to sell?
Everybody has a price, right? I'm not going to sit here and say, this is like a family jewel and I got to pass it on to my children. I am shareholder like you are. Hopefully you will be. I am one of the largest shareholders. I put significant portion of my wealth into the business. So I am heavily aligned with the shareholder, with the market, to be successful. So if it's offer that comes in, makes sense from a financial perspective, I'll be the first one in line.
Okay, on that, we're out of time. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Simon. Thank you.